at 6:03. A regular meeting for Thursday, October 14th is now in session. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge
allegiance
to
to
the flag
flag
of the United States
of America,
to the republic
and
to
to
the
the
republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty and
with
justice
liberty
for all.
and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Here.
Director Kelly.
Here.
Director Nyman. Absent. Yes. Director Schoenberg.
Here.
And I'm Director Garcia. Okay. Number 2, if there's any discussion or a vote on the agenda being adjusted, I'd like to hear those comments at this time.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead,
know that
Director
we
Schoenberg.
need. Thank you. I know that we need to table the closed session at the end, number 20, and the number 21, the discussion vote on the general manager contract. So those both need to be tabled. And I know that 22, we only have the minutes for the regular meeting, not the planning meeting yet. So it'll just be one item, not two.
Perfect.
And then, like I said, Tiffany and I will try to give the manager's report. I'll help her fill in if she's missing anything, because he may not have any reception. I think he's driving through area with no reception. And let's see. I think that should be it.
Okay. Duly noted. Any other discussion by any of the directors? Okay, let's move on to number 3. Public comments. Do I hear any public comments out in the audience tonight? Not hearing any. We will move on to number 4. Report of officers. I have no report this month. Vice President is absent. Secretary.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Treasurer.
It'll come up in the ad hoc committees, but yeah, we went in and worked with our bookkeeper, and I have not made any more transfers or anything. So what I do need to do is I still need to dispute the charges from last month on our different bank accounts that I'm not sure if those are correct. And then also, I guess I could give it here. We did have it, and I'll let Tiffany fill in more on her report, or on Johnny's report. But we did have a problem with with a check getting run through twice accidentally, and it has been fixed at the bank. And we did get a call from the person that had a charge that was incorrect, and it was before the person called us that had already been returned back into their account. So but I'll let Tiffany fill in a little bit more on that, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Director Gibson, JPIA representative.
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you. Number 5, board member initiatives. I have none this time. Any other of the board members have initiatives I'd like to introduce? Okay, then number 6, Lisa and Tiffany, I'll ask you guys to give the manager's report.
Okay, I'll start with the item Director Schoenberg was talking about. So today I'm covering the front desk, and I received a phone call from a customer saying that they had written a check to pay their water bill, and that check was mistakenly used twice, one for the amount of the water bill and one for a little over $5,000. So the account was initially debited, but the bank caught it and returned that money the very next day. But they were a little concerned about how something like that could happen. I did a little research, and it turns out it was just a entry error on the part of the person who had done the deposit. Maybe, miskeyed something in and it ran like that. So we did figure it out though, and moving forward, it's been fixed and will be dealt with.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think Director Schoenberg, if you want to talk about the part with the letters.
Sure. So we also need to send out a couple of letters to follow our work comp protocol, because we do have a couple employees out on work comp. One that's not out, but three total. But for the ones that are completely out and not at work, we need to send out just a standard letter. So Johnny and I did talk to the attorney today, but we forgot that we already had a letter that had been sent out to one of the employees. So we just need to, I think, make a copy of that letter. He sent it back to the attorney to remind him of what we sent, because it was actually done by pass and not the attorney. And it's just to follow the protocol. 2021, some change was made that employees have 12 weeks where you put them on leave, and then it's just to let them know that, and that's in their rights to continue to be paid. And then after that, we need to send out additional letters to the doctors, trying to find out what the when the employee might return. So, and then the same thing in that letter, it states about how about medical pay, and we actually have all three: medical, vision, and dental pay, and the possibility of COBRA. So that letter is going to get sent. We sent one out already. We're going to send out an additional letter, and then there'll be a letter sent to the employees' doctors at the point where they surpass or pass that 12-week window, just to find out a potential time that they may be able to come back, because unfortunately it's difficult to with some employees we can't really do modified duty because their duties are too complicated. So kind of where we're sending out the letters to the doctor to find out when they might be able to come back with the non-modified duty.
Right.
So that's going out, and Johnny's handling that. And then there was something else. Oh, and then we also are working on the and I guess I can say it here. We're working on the will serve, but it'll also come up. It comes up for us to vote on. But Johnny and I have been going back and forth on two different will serve letter, conditional will serve letters. So we have the will serve letter. We have the letter we sent to a property owner that we're just modifying slightly to go out to anyone who has a more complicated project that's out of boundaries or whatever, or needs a lot of modification to the water system improvements. And then we'll have a general letter that's going to go out that's for just a normal conditional will serve, which is conditional because of what's happening with our well still. And then we'll look at those in the agenda item. So, but those have been worked on. There's still a few little typos and stuff, but we've gone back and forth on that. And
Director Schoenberg, there was one follow-up. So because we were able to find an error in our deposits, we discussed possibly forming an ad hoc committee to go through the past deposits and just make sure they were accurate. So that would be something that will be on the agenda at the next meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay. All right. So did
And
that,
I'm just gonna
include-
say, and that could be any of the other directors that are interested. It would just be going through and comparing what is written for the deposit with the actual check that goes through the machine, the scanning machine, just so we can make sure that we catch stuff before it gets to the bank.
that would
Well,
be going
finances
forward,
aren't my
right?
strong suit, but
And just to also
Um,
check some of our past deposits. The reason why it's
Okay, so-
really, can I say real quickly, the
Yeah.
reason why it's really important right now is because our bookkeeper is still trying to fill in the gaps that were in our records as far as reconciling. And so
Mhm.
it's a little easier, although this mistake, I don't think she would have been able to catch even if everything was reconciled, because everything balanced, but there was a mistake. So that's like a really hard one to catch, which is where we really need to look at the checks entered and the checks deposited. And so we just need a director to be willing to do that. And then, like I said, the bookkeeper would catch most of the other stuff as soon as she's caught up with the reconciliation. So
That's something you're interested in, Director Gibson?
yeah, if somebody could give me exactly what I do, what do I compare the bank statements with the deposit slips or what?
no, it would be the deposit state, there's a printout, so there's a deposit, and then it shows the check as it goes through the scanner. So it would be checking what's written for the deposit against the actual check, because what happened is, for whatever reason, if it's stuck to, I don't know, there was a entry issue so that the check went through twice. And so it would, if we have someone looking at that, you would look at like I said, what's entered for the deposit, because we hand enter that, and then what actually goes through the check scanner. There's a picture of every check. So as long as, and they're all in order. So if number one on the list says $200 and the check says $200, check, that's right.
Mhm.
And you just want to check that it's not entered a second time or anything. So, and it would just be going through those deposit records, hopefully at the water company, because I was saying to Johnny, I'm a little leery about that stuff going out to someone's house.
Oh, yeah.
So, hopefully be willing to do it at the water company.
You need two,
Okay.
right? You need two for ad hoc or?
Two, we could do two.
Well,
We don't
you know.
have to have two, but two's better because it would make it much faster, because there's some old ones that we need to go through. So, and they're doing deposits, daily or every couple days. So there's like a number of them to go through.
So would it be like a weekly thing to do? I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
I think initially it would be the backlog of deposits, because we haven't been able to reconcile stuff for a couple of months. So it would be the deposits, it would be the back deposits, just double checking to make sure there aren't any, nothing's weird or anything. Most likely the bank would catch it too, but just to be sure. And then going forward, it would be, probably like weekly, or because you wouldn't want to come in constantly every time she has a deposit. So I would say,
And the
Tiffany,
bank,
what do you think?
and we don't have, I'm sorry, I just got a bunch of questions. We don't get that many checks, right? People don't, that's not the main way people pay, is it?
I don't know. That's a question for Tiffany. It's probably half and half or something.
It's about, I would say a good 50 to 60% of people pay with checks.
Wow.
Okay.
And do we enter the credit cards as well, or is that just automatic?
Yeah, the credit cards, if they call in, we would hand key them, but I don't think there would be anything to back check on the credit cards.
Okay.
Okay, well, you could kind of walk me through it, right, Tiffany?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Now,
you.
I have another,
Director Gibson.
if somebody has a question about the same thing, I wanted to ask a question about the workers' comp thing.
Go ahead.
This letter that we're going to send out, who's going to handle that in the office? Because we don't have an HR person.
Johnny's handling it, and the letter was
Okay.
initially written by Pass, so our HR, hired firm,
Consultant.
and
Mhm.
and then he's also ran it by Jerry Pearson, who is our attorney for employee stuff, just to make sure that
Got it.
he's okay with the letter as well.
Okay.
And then Johnny just out.
Okay, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Director, Tiffany, was your administrative report rolled into all that stuff that you just gave us?
Yes, it
Do
was.
you have it
and then
separate?
No, it's rolled in, and then anything else I'll cover under the agenda item.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And
Number 7.
just one more quick thing. We need to put
Director
the
Schomburg?
ad hoc. We need to put the ad hoc on for next meeting so that we can vote on it, because we don't have enough. We need 3
If we don't have a
board
quorum.
members,
Right.
right? And it's not on the agenda. So so we need to just put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Noted.
We have
Right.
we have a quorum, but people would need to abstain.
Yeah. Okay, number 7, ad hoc committee reports. Is there any reports to be made on any of the ad hoc committees?
Yeah,
Local
the local
information?
information committee needs to be taken off. That's no longer, that got dissolved last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The project committee will be meeting next week with the state, and so that report is more apropos on our next meeting. I don't think nothing has happened other than I may be sitting in with Johnny on a report about the blending station or the blending requirements. That's on Monday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be available or not, but I know he'll be talking to the state on Monday about that. And then the financial committee,
Mhm.
Director Nyman and myself, I went through all of the financials with our bookkeeper yesterday, or no, 2 days ago. And so those have all been looked at, and we're still waiting for RCAC to give us some direction, and I guess that comes up on an agenda item anyway, but to give us some, the spreadsheet that we're looking for to go through. And then we also, what else did we do? I think that's it.
Okay, that's plenty.
I wanted to
Move on
ask
to
a
num-
question.
Yes, Director Gibson.
For the financial committee, you said at the last meeting that and maybe you talked about it earlier when you said you still haven't cleared it up, the analysis service charged by the bank, is that the one you're looking into to see if?
Yeah, that's the one I
Okay.
still need to contact the bank.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm
You're
going there
welcome.
tomorrow to deposit our 2 bank cards, so I'll be able to talk to them, hopefully.
All right. Thank you, Director Schoenberg. Financial business, number 8, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Good evening,
Good evening. This is Deborah.
Deborah. The floor is yours.
Hi, Deborah.
Hello, Rebecca. Well, I'd like to start with just kind of bringing you up to date with what I've accomplished and what I feel is yet to be accomplished. The month of September basically was training and cleanup. And I spent time gathering all of the documents in the workspace, organizing them according to task, purging the last fiscal year files and setting up the current files, assessing the status of the reconciliations of the bank accounts as well as the credit card accounts. And then I had to do some research and training on the calculation of the RVS and payroll adjustments into QuickBooks. And I did get those completed for June, July, and August. And of course, keeping current, posting all of the daily bills and credit card receipts that were received in my inbox. And then, let's see. So I also finished the reconciliation for the bank account in July. And I should be finished with August next week. And then, let's see. Oh, and as far as the credit card reconciliations, I'm still working on bringing those up to date and making certain that all of the transactions have actually been posted. Because the credit cards were the payments were being kept current, but not all of the transactions were actually posted. So I'm going back to the beginning of July for that. And then as far as this month and what is yet to be done, I really recommend that we somehow work on getting the chart of accounts alphabetized, because it would make it a lot easier for everybody who has to utilize the chart of accounts to classify transactions. It would make it easier to find things rather than having it in numerical order. Let's see, what else? And then there has been discussion with Lisa about adding class codes to the bookkeeping structure. And I do highly recommend that we do that because we have various types of structures that you'd like to pull out of the main structure for reports. And it would be a lot easier if we had class codes attached to the transactions. And then I think there may be other things that I'm not aware of yet, and I will be working with Lisa on that. Oh, I know I needed to also assess the status of all of the 1099 related data in preparation for year-end processing. And I think that's about it, unless anybody has any questions for me. And hopefully, I will have some correct financials for you by the November meeting, the first meeting, that we'll be able to produce a full set of financials. But for right now, this month, you should all have a copy of the check detail for the bills that we paid. There were 35 checks issued on Tuesday, and they totaled $64,519.96. And as of this afternoon, from the revenue operating account, the current bank balance is $172,281.44. So I think we're still solvent there. Is there anything else?
Any questions or discussion from the board?
I think
I'll
that's good. There is one, well, wait. There is one other thing that's going to come up. D. Jasper sent us today partial payment to, well, not complete, but we are going to need to pay partial payment 2 and partial payment 3 to Johnson Drilling. We do need an invoice from you. I think that'll come up somewhere also further in the agenda, but in order to pay those bills, we need to get an invoice. But what we may need to do is to vote to give a vote of confidence for the financial ad hoc to look at those bills once we have the invoices, look those over, and then see if Deborah can cut a check before the next meeting. And then we would have to bring that check around to get 3 signatures. But I think that's really needs to probably be paid before the next meeting, floated, and then we would get reimbursed again by the state in one of our claims. So the next claim. So that's still needs to potentially be brought up tonight. But what I would like to do is I would like to move that we pay all of our other bills and then keep in consideration the Johnson Drilling 2 checks that we may need to separately.
Do I have a second?
I have a couple questions first. I hope that's
Gibson.
okay. I noticed that there was, and so it couldn't have been, so what happened today with Jerry Pearson, but that on September 30th, there was a couple telephone calls to Jerry Pearson. Is that about something that we'd been working on?
No, that's in regard to our general manager. He's been
Oh,
doing
that's
sort of,
right.
Is this a
And
point
so,
out of order? Hello?
No, it is. It's a check on the check detail,
Oh,
so
thank
it's
you.
not out of.
No. Please,
So
continue.
we did okay those. We took a look at that those consultation charges. They looked okay. That was a consultation in regard to compensation for or
Right.
comp time.
I remember now.
Yeah. So that's all legit.
And I wanted to ask, it's a small amount, but for Tiffany's PC service, did we get it set up at her house or something while she was sick?
Where's that?
There's a payout for, it's a Tiffany's PC service. Is that our Tiffany for PC Pal?
No, nothing.
Computer maintenance.
Her.
Yeah, I can.
That was.
I can answer that. That was to set up. So when I was at home, I had the laptop, and Bill set up remote access so that when I'm at home, I could use the work laptop to access my desktop at the office. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tiffany.
Sure.
Oh.
I will second the motion that we pay our bill.
Director Gibson has seconded the motion. Roll call directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0-1 absent. Motion carried.
Okay, and then I would like to make an additional motion. I'd like to move, and I can't vote on this, so we would need all 3 votes in order for it to pass. But I would like to move that we allow the financial ad hoc to go over the, I don't even know if I should make this motion. You know what? I think we need to entertain a motion to allow the financial ad hoc to review the D. Jasper invoices for Johnson Drilling once they come in. And if everything looks okay, to have the bookkeeper cut a check and take the check around for signatures. But someone else should make that motion, and I need to abstain from it.
I will make a motion that the financial ad hoc committee can go over the invoices from D. Jasper for Johnson & Johnson Drilling. That's
No.
sufficient.
And
Right,
Have the
second.
bookkeeper cut the check.
right, and then allow the bookkeeper to cut 2 checks.
And allow the
for-
bookkeeper to cut a check
it'll
for
probably be
Johnson
2
Drilling.
checks. It would probably be 2
2
checks,
checks.
and then they would need to take around for signature outside of the board meeting.
Well, did I
So
state it enough?
Are
It's
you-
gonna look real messed up in the,
I'll work my magic.
Do we have a second?
thank you.
I'll second it.
Director Kelly has seconded it. Roll call directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
abstain.
Director Garcia is an aye. 3-0, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carried.
Cool.
Okay, now we are going to discuss and vote on a book asset detail. Is any activity there, Director Schoenberg?
So what's happening with that is we're waiting for RCAC. We haven't done anything further on the detail that pertains to us. As far as the detail that we provided to RCAC, that's done, and we're waiting for a spreadsheet to let us know what the projected numbers are for the next 5 years as far as Prop 218. So that's in process. And then once we deal with the Prop 218 stuff, we'll continue to work on the book asset detail just in relationship to how it pertains to the FPPUD and not necessarily auditors or Prop 218
So that'll be carried over.
with the auditors, but yeah, not for the Prop 218.
Okay. Okay, number 10, discussion vote on the 2021 engagement letter with BHK for the annual audit. Directors have any discussion on that one? You saw the increase in the price. Anybody have a chance to look at it today?
Oh, yeah. I looked at it. It looks pretty much just like the others.
With the exception of the price, of course.
Well, everything's going up. What can we say?
Right. I'll entertain a motion if there's no other questions or discussions.
Because we don't want to go somewhere else. I mean, shop around. So,
Basically, what we're
I will
getting is
make a motion
Go ahead.
that we will accept the engagement letter with BHK for the annual audit, including the price
Second.
increase.
Thank you. Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Director Kelly has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
and Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Number 11, discussion vote on Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. Letter A, discussion vote update on test well reports.
And
Yeah,
really
we-
quick, is it okay? I'm trying to help our bookkeeper out. Is it okay if she's done for the meeting, or would you like her to stick around?
I think we're done unless Director Schoenberg, what was your take on that? Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I think we're fine for this meeting. Yeah, she needed to be just know about the engagement letter, but yeah, we should be fine.
Thank you. Ms. Angel?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah.
Look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you next time. Bye for
Okay,
now. Have a good evening.
goodbye. Thank you, you too.
Mhm. Okay, D, think you're up.
Okay, well, we're working on the test well documents. They are due this month, by the end of this month. So we're putting together, talked with the hydrogeologist today and getting all the water quality tests that we can append to that. And then putting together the report that will incorporate the hydrogeologist report as well. So that's in process, and our target date is this month, no later than the end of this month.
Okay. Letter B. Thank you. Discussion vote on a new budget request. Is that right back in your?
Do you want to talk in that under A about the Johnson drilling?
I can do that. The project, of course, is over. It's a success. I'm been working with Johnson Drilling to get their invoice so that I could combine it with the progress payment tabulation that you have. And they're extremely busy. Their bookkeeper is really, really busy. And so anyway, I have not received the invoice. I've requested it a couple of times. She says she will get on it as quickly as possible, but they're pretty well overloaded right now. So what I thought would be maybe a reasonable thing to do, and Director Schoenberg mentioned that, and that is authorize the payment of the second and third progress payment amounts once we get the invoice from Johnson Drilling. And I've communicated that to Johnson Drilling that, you know, there will be no payment until we have the invoice. They understand that. Just trying to get on top of this stuff. They've had a couple of folks leave their organization, and so they're a little bit tight right now. I think that's what's going on.
Okay, well, that being said, is there a discussion or vote on a new budget request?
I think we won't have that until we get the final figures from Johnson Drilling.
Okay, good. So we're going to carry that over. Okay, C, discussion vote, claims and payouts. I think we just discussed that.
Yes.
Anything else?
We have the motion for that, and we're just gonna wait on the invoices.
Okay, good. D, discussion vote on possibly purchasing the SEA property before construction agreement for the district well.
So I think we were supposed to be getting some information from the attorney. I'm not sure where we're at on that, because we kind of agreed in concept to move forward on that, but there were some things that we needed to understand before we can move on. And so I mean, I think we need to talk to Lawrence a little bit more about that, but I believe we also needed to reach out to the attorney, and I don't know if we've done that.
Do we know the purchase price?
No, because
No?
we have to, before we do any of that, we need appraised.
Appraised, that's right. Okay. Okay, so all this is kind of in limbo.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Excuse me, D, please.
just a couple of things along that line, just to remind the board that the agreement that we have with SEA on that property is a 5-year agreement, but with the other property, it's a 2-year agreement. So, you know, we just don't want to go too far down the road without getting an appraisal and putting together an agreement for that, purchasing that property as well.
Right,
So I think,
because the clock is
Tiffany-
ticking.
yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry,
Tiffany, we
Director
had
Schoenberg.
talked about, sorry, we had talked about both properties and we need to add the second property to D.
Got it.
Okay.
And then we definitely had talked about moving forward with the appraisal. So have we gotten anywhere with that yet, D?
No, I guess I wasn't aware I was supposed to get going on that, so I didn't, I haven't done anything, but I'll write myself a note. I missed that, taking my notes, last time, so I will move ahead with that. And,
I think before we move ahead, maybe we should just, once again, I know we talked to Lawrence about it once, but maybe we should just put that out there one more time next week and on the state ad hoc meeting and just, make sure that, once we have the appraisal, make sure that we're going to be able to be, I know we already have money in the budget for the appraisal, but just make sure that time's not going to run out and we'll be able to be reimbursed if we float the money out of pocket as we had talked about. But I think we should just double check on that.
okay.
And what do we need to talk to the lawyer about specifically? And if it can be like a 25 words or less, I mean, I'm sorry. What do we need to get straight with the lawyer about? Do we need to get it straight about if we can buy the property?
I think,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, I think the lawyer pertains a little bit expressly to the SEA property because of the lease agreement on it right now. We're not, I mean, there's just some questions that we still to make sure once we have appraisal, how we can move forward on that.
And how long are appraisals good for?
Not that long. I mean, what do you think? Like a year, 2 years, year and a half?
It kind of depends on the market and what's going on.
Yeah, seems like it would. Yeah.
Yes, but they certainly should be good for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, 6 months. Well, it's definitely not good as long as our agreement, which is with the SEA, it's 5 years. With the French Wainwright, it's 2 years. But probably the appraisal, when we do it, we're going to need to move fairly quickly because
How far
otherwise
along are we into that time frame right now? 6 months?
Yeah.
We've it was from the end of the test well drilling process and then a decision by the board that we do want to purchase those properties. And so I guess I'm just thinking about what needs to be done there, I think, and we should check with the attorney, but I think the board has to take formal action as to, a resolution regarding that. And then once that resolution is made and part of the record, then I think the clock starts ticking at that point in time. If we don't wait too long from the time that they finish the test well, to the time that we declare that we have enough evidence as a result of what we found out that we want to now negotiate for the property.
So that should be really an E on that agenda item, correct? So that we have a potential discussion and vote on resolution.
Yes.
And we won't know that. Okay.
So we have to add that to next month's.
Well, it's a little weird because we won't know the date of the resolution per se until we have, we need to do a little bit of footwork first. But I would say we could add it. Yeah, we could add it to not even next month. We could add it to the planning and just leave it a little bit vague in terms of, we can just so that we can discuss and potential vote on going forward with a resolution or something like that.
Okay. but it keeps our place safer.
And then-
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see, where are we at? 12, discussion vote update on Fraser Park Public Utility District meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. A, discussion vote update.
Wait. Before we move on, are we going to talk at all about, we skipped over it actually, but I think we can't skip over it. We need to actually go back to C and find out if the claims and payouts are in the works for the next one. For the next claim, which we're on, I don't know, I've lost track, number 12.
Would that be
That's
Oscar?
the Oscar Carlos, really?
Huh?
Is Carlos,
Yes,
is
can you
Carlos
repeat
on?
that? I'm sorry.
No, I was on mute, sorry. We're gonna be on claim 11. And that'll be claim 11 will be for
September, correct?
September, yeah, for September. And yeah, so I'll need all the invoices from D and from Young and Woolridge, and Tiffany got me some of her portions already for you guys.
And that'll be the two Johnson drilling ones as well. We just don't have the invoices yet.
Yes.
But those should be included.
Yeah,
Because
so
they'll
I'll
be,
need
or
that
actually,
from,
no, I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong, because they're not gonna get paid until October, so that will be on claim 12.
okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
also I got word from Eric, I don't know if you guys got copied on it, that claim 9 has been approved already.
Oh, great.
So you guys should be receiving money shortly for that. And then claim
Great.
10, there was two or three additional items that he needed from, and I'm waiting on that from D, from D's office. They need to give me one of the invoices was billed to She, and he needs to get changed to billed to Fraser Park. And then also they wanted some backup documentation for some charges, I believe. So once I get that, and I'll submit it to Eric, and then he'll go over claim 10 and see if he can approve it. And then also I wanted to let D know if Ken Schmidt's gonna charge more to what is it? Water quality testing? No. Hydrogeologist and inspection. If you guys are gonna charge more to that, there's only $3,590.58 left in the budget. So I don't know if you guys are gonna go over at that in the next claim or two. So we'll have to just keep an eye on that.
I don't think on the inspection, there'll be anything there. I am still working with the hydrogeologist. It's more on the report side than on
Yeah,
the.
we got plenty of money on the report side. It's just the actual hydrogeologist and inspection. There's only like $3,600 left in that budget or that balance. And then also, whoever sent the invoices to Tiffany, I know Tiffany addressed it with you guys, is that there was a repeat invoice from Ken Schmidt for 8,000 something. So, well, I still really haven't taken a look at them, but I know that that invoice is the same amount and it had the same description as the one that was submitted in claim 10. And I know Tiffany resent it to me with a different number, but it's still the same invoice. So I don't know. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, we're checking that out, Carlos, and I think it's all resolved, and it is a double invoice. And
Yeah.
So, and the other issues with respect to changing the the one bill that was billed to SHE, I know that we've changed that one too. And so I think we're on top of it, but I'll check with our new bookkeeper named Gail.
Okay,
And
so
the,
if she can send me that information as soon as possible, that I can get it to Eric and he can approve the claim 10.
Do you, when you and Carlos are talking about that going to Fraser Park, you're talking about it still being a B invoice, an invoice that's supposed to be paid via the grant, or you're talking about that you submitted something that had nothing to do with the LOW consolidation?
Yeah, it's something I'll have to look at it again. Let me look at my emails real quick.
yeah,
But I believe it was
I think
it
we
might have
assumed
been
it was
the Ken Schmidt one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Fraser Park per se. It would be something that needs to be done on a claim.
Yeah, but anything that's done on the claim has to be billed to Fraser Park.
Right.
Yeah, so that's
Correct.
the only thing that on the thing it said
At the
to
end.
self-help enterprises. So then that one it needs to be done, sent to it needs to be
Can we
sent
just
Fraser Park.
make sure that can we just make sure that invoice has a B on it so that we know it's I mean, we probably will suspect that since it's a Ken Schmidt invoice, but just to keep it consistent.
Okay,
Sure.
here it is right here. Let me check.
Those should be properly, at least the ones that have been revised, they should be properly numbered.
Yeah, it's invoice 21-8062 for $8,393.68. Sub-consultant Kenneth Schmidt, August 2021. That was billed to Self-Help Enterprises, so that just needs to be billed to Fraser Park. And then D needs to provide missing backup for
There were some,
J angle sample preservative for 9 something and 2 something and 2 something. So
that
once he-
information has been gathered too.
okay.
And I'm going to do a real quick check. I think our bookkeeper is still here, so I'll be right back.
Okay, so. Is there anything else we can go on? Can we go on to 12A?
I think so.
Yeah, cool. So letter A is going out to bid for well number 7. We have any discussion or an update on that?
Well, we need D back for that.
Yeah, I'm thinking. For B as well.
Yeah,
and
for all of
C
this.
and
So
D.
we should.
Yeah. Should we take a break or what? Everybody okay with just hanging out or what are you doing? We'll hang out for a little bit, see if he comes back. Well, I'll use this as a potty break, excuse me.
Well, why don't we just move to take a 5-minute break?
I'll make a motion that we take a 5-minute break.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll move. Oh, you made the motion?
Yep.
I'll second that in lieu of our, can I just add a friendly amendment in lieu of our 10 minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Accept that friendly amendment?
I accept it.
Okay.
I'll second that then.
Okay, Director Schoenberg has seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. We are
Oh, and
on break.
And we actually forgot to note the time for the end of the discussion about the FP Lake of the Wood consolidation planning.
Should we guess?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just say now.
Yeah. Okay.
Although
Were we
Dee
supposed
has
to
to
note
sit-
the time when we're going to break?
6:55.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
I think we made all the corrections, and Tiffany, I think Gail emailed those out yesterday or maybe this morning, something like that. So you should get them. Hopefully you got them.
Yeah, I think I did. The board is on a 5-minute break while you were while you were asking your question, so they'll be right back.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Get a cup of coffee then. Be right back.
Okay, here we go. Everyone back?
Dee went to grab
Uh,
coffee.
Okay, you're our lone rock, aren't you, Tiffany? You're the only stayed through. God bless you.
I'm
Thank you.
here.
Oh, good.
I'm here.
Got 2 of them. All right, that's 4 of us.
We're just waiting to see the reason we went on break in the first place.
Hi, Ralph.
There he is.
There we go. Okay, Dee, you were going to check out some questions and answers with the bookkeeper. How'd we do? Well, you could start by unmuting yourself, brother.
What we did is made the corrections that were requested and sent them up to Tiffany. She's going to be looking at them and making sure that the corrections were made that were needed. So we've shipped them out and they just need to be checked.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I just saw what they did is when Tiffany sent me the invoices from D, she stated that one was a duplicate, but the reason, now that we're talking about this, the reason one was a duplicate was that they made the correction of billing it to Fraser Park instead of self-help. And then also the reason she sent a corrected invoice as well is because on the invoice she sent, it said September 30th when it should have been August. So the only ones I don't see, D, is the backup doc for the $9 and something, and the $2.99 and the $2.99.
I'll check that out, Carlos. I know we have that information.
Okay.
So I'll check it out. Got a note. I'll pass it along right away.
Okay, so next topic is all you as well, Dee. We're starting off with a discussion, vote and update. I'm going out to bid for well number 7.
We have been out to bid actually, and
Okay,
so we do need authorization to go out to bid. But Lawrence had some questions and some comments, and we're issuing an addendum. And forgive us for putting it on the street, but this is so critical that we went ahead and put it on the street. We can always pull it off the street if the board so desires. But we've made, we're going to put one addendum out before the bids come in. And that'll be to make, I think, one correction that Lawrence had noted. And I think there's one minor thing as well. And so that'll be the subject of an addendum, and the bids are due November 3rd, unless the board decides that they want to, that you would like to push that further out. But anyway, that's
And D, so we had actually approved it to go out to bid once the specifications, I believe, once the specifications were changed in terms of the way that it was going to be dug.
I think you're right, Lisa. Thank you for correcting me. I guess maybe that is the reason why we did that. We don't generally jump in front of the board, but we did make the changes that were required, and the changes were in the method that would be used to drill the well. And method at first, we were looking at going in there and, with casing hammer style. And then after Ken Schmidt looked at the information the old well log for well 5. And he changed his mind and he thought that it would be better to drill it, with
Rotary.
the other method. And we did that.
I have a question for Dee.
Yes.
Yes, please, Tiff.
Okay, in our general mailbox, our FPPUD1 mailbox, I've received a couple questions from contractors just asking for information. And I was wondering where I could refer them to get the answers to their questions.
Send them down to us. And to Curtis's attention. And
Through
then
his email, or is there a phone number, or?
email's fine, or you
Okay,
can send them to me and I'll forward them to Curtis.
okay,
Yeah, we'll make that part of the addendum. We like to let everybody, when a question's asked by one contractor, everybody gets the answer. And so we'll put that in the addendum.
okay.
Okay, moving right along. Discussion vote on amended plans and specs for meter replacement.
We're working on it. And I don't have a projected time when that'll be done. But I know that Curtis has been working with Johnny. And so we're getting it together. It's in process. That's really all I know right now.
Okay. So it's active.
Yes.
And we're just going to carry that over again. Keep following it along. C, discussion vote on going out to bid for the meter replacement. That's directly related to the spec. So
Yeah.
we're not out for a bid on that one yet, are we?
No.
What's your projection on that one, Dean?
Well, I'd say we're probably a month away, maybe 2 months away to going out for bid on that.
Okay, so we'll continue to chase that one down the road as well.
Yes.
1 to 2 months. Okay. D, any claims or payouts discussed that need to be discussed or voted on?
There
Do you
is,
reckon?
just another reminder, there is still one outstanding invoice that we received from the attorney related to this project. So we're still holding on to it, but just to let everyone know it's floating out there.
One from a lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a couple months.
And
Are we gonna have to pay that?
say that again, Director Kelly?
Will we need to pay that and then wait for reimbursement?
Not
It's
sure.
possible, since it's been a couple of months, it's something to think about.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
we do need to do is make sure that we're all set up to be reimbursed. We need to make sure that we're at a point where we can put claims in, because I don't believe that we have submitted any claims for this yet, have we?
No claims have been submitted for this project yet.
And do we have the full funding agreement? I mean, I know that was done, but is that I don't recall that we got that in front of us. I recall that it was still in process.
I haven't received the forms yet. The forms that would go with the claims that Lawrence would send with that. I haven't received
Right.
those. That's why I
Right,
was under
'cause
the
I don't-
impression that we're still.
I don't even
Oh.
think we've gotten the funding agreement to sign. I don't
Is that-
remember that. So I think we need to ask Lawrence and the ad hoc, Tiffany, if you can
Yes.
help us remember to do
please.
that, and Oscar
Mhm.
and Carlos and Oscar and
I'll
And
be on
also-
vacation.
And you
Yeah,
guys got to
I can
remember too that
remember.
Lawrence sent a message saying he will not be at the next ad hoc meeting or at the
Bummer.
next state
Oh,
meeting.
okay, and
Okay, I
Tiffany's
can
not
send
gonna
them
be
an
there
email.
either. Are we gonna have a way to record that, Tiffany?
Somebody would have to be physically in the office here to record it.
Can Johnny, I mean, normally Johnny's on that too. Maybe we need to make sure that he's gonna be able to do that.
I'll send him a reminder
Is-
email.
Okay, because that's this coming Thursday, next
Right.
Thursday. Yeah, you'll be gone. So yeah, I mean, or Johnny or somebody will have to show me how to do it so that I can call in from the office and turn it on. I just don't know how to record it.
Right.
So if he's not going to be there, then I'm willing to come in and do that, but I just need to know what to do ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Director Schoenberg. Number 13, vote on pipeline replacement project. Discussion vote on project funding.
Before you move on,
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, let me, I don't know if you guys probably didn't read. Did you guys read Lawrence's email saying he wasn't going to be there?
No.
Did not.
Okay, so he said he won't be participating in the meeting scheduled for 10/21. If there's anything that you would like my input on before that meeting, please let me know by this Thursday, 10/14, which is today. So
Yeah.
anyways,
Okay, that did.
so he wanted he's like, please send me the meeting minutes so I can review upon my return any questions or concerns you may have for me best. So I guess it's too late to send them.
Well, we can just bring it up at the meeting, and then he can comment on where we're at with that, with the funding agreement and the forms, because I don't recall that. I recall that he said that everything's good to go, but that it was still not back yet or not available, if I recall it correct. So yeah, and then we can we still need to record that meeting. So and then since it's normally on Lawrence's line, will we be calling in to the same line, I wonder? Or do we need to do the meeting on a different?
I'm not sure. That's
I mean, I think Jesse, I can't remember if that number, the state number, is from Lawrence or from Jesse. So I guess we just need to check on that. We're not going to have Tiffany, so I don't know if we probably need to check. Maybe I don't know if Carlos or Oscar, if you could check and just make sure it's going to be on the same line, because if not, we might have to go through the self-help
yeah.
teleconference.
I'll see
Okay,
if I can
we can
get a
use the
hold of
current CD
Lawrence.
line.
Use the what?
The current CD line. The self-help line.
Right. Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure we need to do that, because we may not, because we have had instances where Lawrence wasn't there and we still were able to call into that number. So I guess we just need to double check, because I think what happened is we called in and Jesse did it
Yeah,
one of the times.
I'll reach out. I'll reach out to Lawrence or Jesse and see if I can get a hold of any of them tomorrow, and see
Okay.
if that line's going to be available. If not, then like Oscar says, we can set up our conference line and send you guys out
Right.
the number and stuff.
Then we just need to, right, and then we need to reach out to Jesse and Ryan and the other people that participate.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Just then however we do that, I'll have to figure out a way to record it. If we use your line, is there some attachment where we can record that?
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask.
Okay.
There is. I recall there's a key that says if you want to record it. I'll connect with our IT staff to see how that would work and how to retrieve that.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, because if we can record it that way, then we just need to retrieve it to be able to get it to Tiffany so she can do minutes.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay, so will you shoot us or at least me email and let or let a couple of us know how we're gonna do that, or I guess definitely me and Director Nyman.
Yeah,
Well-
we'll do that.
okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, B, discussion vote on contract with D Jasper Associates for that. Do we have your contract, D?
No, we really, we need to do more work to really develop the scope a little bit better than what we know right now. We've really, Curtis met with Johnny.
Wait, I'm hold on, I'm confused. Did we
Director
do A?
Schoenberg?
We didn't do 13A. That was 12D that we were just on.
Oh, okay. Let's back up one. Discussion vote on project funding.
So we, as far as I know, we still haven't gotten, I don't recall seeing the letter stating how the state was going to do what they're going to do. I know,
Administer the funds.
yeah,
No,
we
and
talked
and
about it.
Pam sent Lawrence a message to see where those letters were at, and he said that they were with I don't remember if it was that they were with legal or, but they were,
Excuse me.
the letters were getting reviewed by somebody higher up than Lawrence now, so
Yeah, it was the
hopefully they
chief
get them out
counsel.
soon.
What'd you say, Pam?
Chief counsel, or attorney. Their
Okay.
attorney. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
we can.
So their
Yes.
their chief counsel was reviewing it, and that's the last I heard.
Thank you, Pam.
And then we're probably gonna start, I mean, for sure, we're gonna start working on the amending that work plan here pretty soon to get it out to the state. So, because it takes them at least a couple months to review it and approve it.
Excuse me.
So that way, but we're gonna need the exact funding amount that we think we're gonna need for, which we're gonna talk a little bit later about the potholing and plans and specs and all that all the work that Dee's gonna do. That way, when we input it into the work plan, then we have enough of a budget to do all that work and get it paid out through SHE-TA funds.
So we're all waiting on the state then.
The state and also self-help getting the work plan out and D telling us on number C, but we're not there yet. So before D can tell us anything on C, he needs to talk about B, which is his contract with us, which we don't have yet.
So let's all carry it over till next time.
No. We need to ask D right now about the contract. Don't carry it over.
Oh, well, I thought Dee might speak on that then.
Well, I haven't prepared a contract yet because I really need to know more about the scope of what we're gonna do. I could prepare a contract that has the original estimates that we put together, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago for that work, but I really think it's a bit premature because we really don't know exactly who's going to do what. So really don't have enough.
But I think without your contract, we can't move on, D. We need your contract and we need an approximate price for the pothole and mapping in order for self-help to go forward and get the funding agreement for technical assistance, which is going to pay for the initial potholing and mapping, and then the rest of the project funding is going to come after that. So in order for us to do any of this, I believe we need the contract, and I believe we have to wait on that first before we can move forward. I mean, we could have some additional discussion with Lawrence, but the technical assistance funds are separate from project funding. So
Yeah, and then
I
we'll
think
have
we
to
need
do
a
an amendment
contract.
with D as well. Once once we get the work plan approved by the state, that way we can pay D out for that work. I mean, we already got a contract with D. We'll just need to make another amendment for that, for this specific project.
Right. So I think D, if you got us a contract again that deals with this specific project, and I think if we have to make an amendment to it, we'll make an amendment to it, but at least if we have something in the works so that we can, and what you
Estimate for
think,
the cost.
yeah, an
Because
estimate for the pothole and mapping.
I know the original estimate was somewhere around 250 for all that work, but
Right.
I mean, if that's realistic, then I can go off of that 250. But if not, we're gonna have to change it up.
Yeah, I'm concerned it may be a little more than that.
Yeah, at this point in time, what we did, what I put together was fairly detailed. And we had, we had proposed to use a backhoe in some places, vacuum trucks in others, and even pipeline locating in others. And had done kind of an inventory of the pipeline system, and it actually counted the number of what we thought might have been the number of excavations that we'd have to do. So we put that together, based on our best guess, and I can take a look at that and see if, and I'm sure, at this point in time with costs going up for backhoes and everything else, I ought to relook at that. And I think you're right, Lisa. I think it's going to be, nothing ever gets cheap.
Because right, and I don't think that we really put a realistic price in for mapping. And so I think that we need that so that, because they're going to include that in the technical assistance. So I think if we can relook at that and make sure that we have something that really makes sense, because we want to be able to not just map what we're potholing at present, but we need to be able to bring all the maps together in order to have a good grip on what's where and all of that, which is going to take a bit of work. So I think we just need just make sure that that's realistic, and make sure that the potholing is realistic, and then make a contract with us so that we can move forward and actually, get self-help to put out, the work plan.
Okay. I'll update the cost estimate and then prepare a draft contract.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then once we get ready to do that amendment D with you, then we're gonna need like a scope of work from you. That way we can make that new amendment.
Okay. I think that, that we can prepare documents that'll serve both purposes.
Excellent. That's good news. Any
Lots of stuff.
guesstimate as
Pretty
to when?
overwhelming.
Pardon me?
We're good. I've got I got my direction here.
Any wild guess as to when those might come down the pipe?
Oh, next week, a couple weeks at the latest.
Okay. I appreciate that. You're a brave man.
So can we make sure that on the agenda for the planning, in case we do have it at that point, that we have a
Agenda item.
well, I guess it already says discussion vote on contract. I think we probably just need to add the self-help portion of that. So discussion vote on potholing and mapping. Maybe you could just say work plan with self-help. Just add to that.
Okay, do you want to also a letter for scope of work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be more closely related to the contract.
Or well, actually, I think that could go under B. I don't know if it needs a separate letter. So it'd be
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
no, but
agreed.
we need full. Well, no, I think it
We need a
could be
scope of work
of
on the
actual letter.
contract. We need those both together. So
Right,
we
but
know
we
what we're
also
getting
need a
for the
further.
amount.
Right, but we also need a further scope of work for the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This
So
is
we
just
need both. So it needs
yes.
B needs
Yes.
a scope of work for this. I mean, we need a scope of work for the TA, for the planning, for the self-help, potholing and mapping, and then separately we need the larger scope of work for the whole project, that the funding that's going to come from the state directly to us as opposed to through self-help.
Let me make sure I understand. So are you, Lisa, you talking about the pipeline replacement work itself?
Right. So, right, because self-help, because the state's gonna pay for the initial potholing and mapping through TA fund, technical assistance funding. But there's gonna also be, we also need the contract with you. So in the contract with you, it needs to mention, the TA portion, but I believe it also needs to be to cover, unless that's gonna be an addendum, the larger idea of the project, even if it's not completely spelled out yet, because it's not going to be able to be completely spelled out until we've done the modeling mapping. But I think we need to at least get something in there, and then that can be an addendum to the contract with you. But
Okay.
I don't know what the state needs to actually, the state's going to need more than just the potholing and mapping, I think, in order to actually, start working on the funding agreement for the whole project itself,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it's like funky because they're going to put the funding agreement, they're going to tie it to the meter replacement, but it's still like a separate project. So we're not going to have to do a whole new application or anything, but we're still going to have to get a separate funding agreement, if that makes sense to everybody.
That's I think there's so much to do with respect to that. Probably we should break that up into phases. Probably 4 or 5 phases, and we'll consider the most pressing areas first, and then move out away from those to get the less critical areas, and then then take those kind of a step at a time. It's going to be a big project, that's for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we don't even know how much that 9 million is going to cover, because it never seems to cover very much
Yeah.
at a time. So, but I agree with you. I definitely think it needs to be phased, and probably that initial 9 million is going to cover most likely only the most critical stuff, because we have a fair amount of pretty critical stuff.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking a lot of miles of pipe, so chances are it's gonna be a drop in the bucket, and additional funding is gonna have to be tied to the consolidation to the Lake of the Woods. consolidation when we get there, to the construction. But right now, we need to at least move on what we can with that 9 million.
Right. Okay. Let's move along to 14, discussion vote update on the Cal OES Community Power Resiliency allocation to special districts grant. A, discuss, vote, approve the bid for the purchase of the generators. Did we all look at that?
So I have some questions on. Yeah, I have some
Yeah.
questions, D.
Director Schoenberg, please.
Okay, so so there were the two different companies, basically, one of which was much less expensive, but it was because it was all tier 3 generators, and the other that was considerably more expensive for tier 4, meaning that we would not be able to buy as many generators. But then there was a question about tier, could we at a couple sites purchase tier 3 generators? Did you get an answer on that?
No, but I think the answer is we can do that and put in tier 3 on those two, which is Pine and Harrison, I think, which are the two smallest, and that's the way the regulations are written right now today. So we could do those. We don't need to do anything special for that.
Just because those are lower horsepower, so it doesn't have to be the tier 4 at this point.
Correct. Yeah, the 15 kW and 30 kW. We didn't pursue that with the. Well, we need to know if you want us to move ahead with the high bidder, I guess, which would be in the PTS rentals for $409,000 about, and then negotiate with them the prices of two tier 3 on those two smaller.
I thought the 409 is including the two sites.
It does, but they're all
So I thought,
tier 4.
Can I ask a
say
question?
that again?
Can I
One
ask a
second,
question?
Director Kelly. 1 second. I think Director Schoenberg has a question on.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to figure out, I understood that the 400,000 was for the initial same amount of generators. But if we're gonna, at those two sites, use a tier 3 generator, wouldn't it be less money than that?
Yeah, Curtis estimates that we'd save, I think, $20,000 to $40,000.
Yeah, that
if
was
we-
just,
Yeah, if we go with the tier 3 on those two locations. So that would get us down to, maybe 360, 380,000, because the bid is 409. So still a fair amount of money over what the grant is.
How much is the grant again?
288.
255, I thought. No, 288. I'm sorry, you're right.
So.
And we still have to pay for the electrical engineering out of pocket?
Yes.
Yeah, we've already done, I think we've already got, unless we get reimbursed from self-help or somebody else, we've already paid for the electrical engineering on it. I guess the question is, how to proceed? Do we want to go with the high bidder and negotiate with them down to as low as we could get them, which in Curtis's estimation, that's going to get us down to about $369,000. So we're still 100,000 or so over what the grant is. Not quite that. Probably
So
about-
we'll have to come out of pocket for 90,000.
That's right. If we decide that we want to install Tier 4, which I think I'd recommend, and except for the two that are small, and save a little bit of money there, yeah, we're still quite a ways over that grant amount. I think Johnny's, I really don't want to say that I'm speaking for him, because I'm not, but I believe his thoughts are, let's get as many generators as we can. Let's get them, and we can install them, at the most critical places right away. And then, keep them in storage until, or set them up on the sites.
And connect them and do the extra work as we can afford it.
Yes,
I get it. It's sort of a staged installation.
yes, that's right.
Got you.
And there's still
Well-
a possibility that we may run out of time, right?
I think
So
we're
a
okay.
possibility of what?
That we may run out of time for this allocation? The deadline, that we may go past it? Is that still a possibility?
I think it's a remote possibility, but a possibility. What I understand is that, everybody is in this boat. That is just a supply side type of a problem that everybody's facing. And so it looks like the Air Board, I think that's who's doing this, is going to be lenient on that time limit. And we should be okay if we get an order in right away. The successful bidder projected that the delivery would be in February of next year. And I'm trying to remember the conditions of the grant, what the date was.
It was March 31st that the money had to be spent by March 31st.
There we go. So,
Okay,
yeah, it looks like we're
a month late.
uh,
No, a month
actually
early.
not early. We're looking at February, Jerry. The April date was the low bidder.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
February
I had
date,
them crossed up. Thank you.
high bidder. Yeah,
All right, well, what,
it's tight.
yes. What does the board think? Do we want to approve this purchase of these generators, the high bid and
Well-
negotiate down?
Subject to.
I'd like to ask a couple of questions.
Please, Director Kelly, take the floor.
Before you ask questions, Director Kelly, sorry to interrupt, but that's pretty much all that I'm needed for, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Well, wait, do we need you anymore for the community water system COVID relief program? Is that,
I think Tiffany can answer that portion already.
Again,
okay,
Okay.
then we're good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, thanks
See
so
you in
much.
2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye.
Travis.
Good night.
I will
Okay,
excuse myself as well, so everybody have a good night.
yes, sir. Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Thanks, Oscar.
Looking to hear from you about next week.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Hello? I'm here. Is anyone else there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
We're
You're
here.
not
Another
alone.
voice.
What did you do?
Carlos and Oscar left.
Okay,
Okay,
so we're back to deciding whether we want to approve the bid for the purchase of the generators. I believe you had the floor, Director Kelly.
yes. We're talking about tier 3 and tier 4, what are the differences?
Deep,
Well, it's, the difference is in the amount of emissions that each one of those units, that the units will produce. And the tier 4 is pretty heavy duty stuff. When you look at the difference between 260 and 410, there's a lot more control on those tier 4s. So I couldn't tell you physically what the difference is, but it's in the compliance between the tier 3 and tier 4. And that Lebec had an issue, and they were trying to get tier 3 generators approved by the board, and they worked on it. I think Curtis told me they worked on it, spent quite a bit of time and money thinking that they could get the tier 3 approved, and that's just down the hill. And
Right.
the board came back and said, no, you got to have tier 4. So, I don't think we have much of a chance of putting in tier 3, except for those small ones that are not regulated. That's the only tier 3 I think that we can do.
Okay. And then second question is, we have to pour pads, right, for these generators to sit on
Yes,
and build a housing.
yes. So there's
Okay, so that's going to add to the cost when we buy the generators, because if the generators are being delivered, do they need that pad and housing already established?
no.
No,
They
we're not
usually
gonna be able to
deliver them
do
on
that.
skids. They're on skids or a crating, and they can. In fact, I think the crew we have, if we have everyone, can do that concrete work in house. It's fairly simple, straightforward. We have the guys, we have the technology. I think that would be something that we could do in house and just take care of with our own labor.
So we could store them until we got that available.
Right.
Purchase them while we got the money before the deadline's over, and then do what we got to do after. And I get your point, Terry, about the additional money.
Yeah, it's sort of a staged installation. The ones that are needed most will be obviously the first to be installed, and so on and so
Okay,
forth.
they looked pretty big in the pictures. So do we have a place that we could stage these things?
In our yard, in our there might even be room inside of those big workshop we have at the back. I toured the site recently, and there's a lot of room that can be had. A little bit of housekeeping.
Yeah, because they just looked really big, and I'm like, okay.
Do you want to go with, do you want to award this subject to some negotiations with the successful bidder with respect to the tier 3 on the 2 smaller generators, and then come back to the board in 2 weeks and
Hammer it out.
yeah.
I think that's a good way to go. I mean, we're not knowing what we're talking about. How can we actually make a good decision? But if we know the negotiated price, then we know
March is around the corner, though.
Okay, I'd like to move. Can I make a motion?
Please, Director Schoenberg, you have the floor.
I'd like to move that we award the bid to the higher bidder because of the tier 4, tier 3 issues, and that we negotiate further to make the Harrison tank and the Pine 1 generators to negotiate price as a tier 3 rather than a tier 4, since those are legal to be covered as tier 3. And because they're smaller, 15 and 30 or so.
KW. Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's my motion.
Do I
and
have a second?
To try to get.
I'll
Well, let
second
me
it.
add one more thing, and to get. Can you hear me?
Yes, please
Can I
go
add
ahead.
just
Yes.
we need to get that negotiation done so that we don't want to negotiate to where it moves past that February 15th, 2022 deadline. So I would just say that whatever negotiations need to keep that February 15th, 2022 delivery.
Immediately, if not sooner.
We'll call them tomorrow.
Okay, and we have a second.
Yes.
Director Gibson has seconded it. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll pursue these folks tomorrow and get a contact going with them and get some negotiations going with those tier 3s.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dean. B, discussion vote on this. Hello?
Hello?
B,
Did everybody
discussion
go
vote
away?
on the district paying for the purchase and installation of generators if the project goes beyond the deadline.
Well, hopefully we're not going to go beyond the deadline, so I think we may want to wait on and carry that over. But we are going to be paying out of pocket, so I guess we just need to okay that, but we already kind of okayed it by voting on A. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I don't think we need to vote again because we already okayed it because we know that we're going to have to pay out of pocket for whatever the difference is.
I agree. Okay.
And then
C,
if for any reason if it starts going beyond the deadline, I think we still need B just in case we have to pull out of pocket.
right. So we'll carry it along. And C, discussion vote on engineering and design.
I think
Are
we need to
those-
carry that over too. Because we have an initial, we initially have paid for a large amount of that, but we just need to get I don't think there's anything more that we can do right now until we have the generators in hand.
Good.
Correct?
I
Okay.
have something to add real quick.
Yes, please.
So I think for the planning meeting, I'm gonna add a letter to discuss the report that's gonna be due to Cal OES before the end of November. Because what I'm hoping is that as we get ready to fill out this report, it's a progress report, but it's the only progress report we'll be giving Cal OES, so it's important. I'm hoping maybe we can have some type of meeting between myself, Dee, Johnny, and if the ad hoc wants to be included, so we can go over the information that we're going to be putting in that report once we have all the answers and we're ready to do that. But I'm hoping we can have an item to discuss that.
Yes. Yeah, D, I agree.
Okay.
All right. 15, discussion vote.
Can I just add, before we move on,
Yes.
can we
Director
just double
Schoenberg?
check with D? So D, we don't need to move on anything else for C, discussion on engineering design, until we have those in hand, correct?
That's correct.
Just
Okay,
wanted to
good.
double check.
Check, double check. Discussion vote on emergency repairs to the Wolf booster and tank site. A, discussion vote on the retention payment. Anybody have input on that?
No,
I think,
Johnny?
was that all rolled into, we're waiting for the invoice?
On this one, I don't think we're waiting for the invoice on this one. It's, we filed a notice of completion a while back, and I think that time is up. And so the retention is due these folks. The only thing that I think at the last meeting, Was there one thing that was left that we were waiting for? And I wish Johnny were on the phone,
Yeah.
could tell us.
I-
But
I thought there was. I thought there was something else that we were waiting on before we paid out the retention. I think pretty much everything was done, but there was something that still one thing that needed to be done, I thought.
Anyway, somebody could call him, see if he's in or out of service.
I can try.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see.
We could put one more thing to bed. I think it's worth a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's probably still on the road though, most likely.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
It was a 3-hour drive.
Where was he going?
Where is he?
Up north. His son's having surgery tomorrow.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh,
Well, we'll keep him in our prayers.
Let's see here.
did I lose you?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 66133129995 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Johnny, this is Dee. Wanted to check with you. It's 8 o'clock. Sounds like you're a little bit out of the range of your cell phone, but if you do get this, I'd like to talk to you just really briefly, just about one item with respect to Wolf Tank, and didn't know whether or not the contractor was completely done. As we're recalling here at the board meeting, we're not sure whether there was one item left that they needed to take care of. And so anyway, if you get this and you can call us right back, that'd be great. Otherwise, give me a call back or give us a call back as soon as you get in a place where you can get some reception. And we can make this maybe subject to that issue. Thanks, Johnny. I'm thinking maybe we authorize payment subject to Johnny authorizing the final payment, basically by telling us that they are done and that everything is in good shape.
And Dee, are you going to be sending us an invoice for that? Retention amount?
Yeah, yes, whatever we normally do on that, with respect to, I'm not sure that we haven't already got that. I'll check it out with Curtis and see what's been submitted already. My guess is they've probably requested their final payment already, but I'll check it out.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we got a request for that, so you'll know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, subject to if the board.
Okay,
Feel about
I'll
it?
move that. Oh, I can't do that because I'm gonna have to do
Sign
it
it.
through. It's gonna be exactly the. Yeah, it's gonna be the same as the motion we did for
Sure.
for Johnson Drilling because we just need to get allow the ad hoc to look it over, make sure that's correct, make sure that we have our bookkeeper cut the correct amount, and then take it around to be signed. So someone else should make the motion and I should abstain.
Who's the payment to?
It's a payment out of our pocket for the retention, due the contractor for the Wolf Tank project, Wolf Booster and Tank Site project.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us
Unified.
the contractor. Do we have to name the contractor? Unified.
Unified is the contractor. We've already paid them multiple times. We've done
Yeah.
many progress payments were done. We just need to be able to get the number
Yeah.
of the retention.
The amount. Okay.
Right. And then we have all the other information. We've already cut multiple checks to them.
Right. Right. I understand that. Okay. I will move that we pay the retention fee to Unified for the Wolf Booster and Tank Site after the ad hoc reviews.
Yeah, that's fine. We just need to have in there that, if everything's taken care of.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Okay, sorry.
After the ad hoc reviews, the invoice to make sure that the work was completed and the retention payment is due. And then our bookkeeper can cut that check, and then someone can run and get the signatures needed for that check.
I have a change before we get a second. Johnny just texted me that everything at Wolf Tank is done. We filed the notice of completion and we're good to go. So we just need to get the invoice. So we don't need to worry about checking anything else. It's done. The notice of completion's filed, and we just need to go ahead to cut that check once we have the exact amount.
Should be right around.
So do we let that motion die?
You can let it die and restate it without the, we don't need to check for everything to be completed. We just need the invoice with the amount, and we need the financial ad hoc needs to be able to cut it with the bookkeeper and take it around to be signed.
Okay. I will try this again. I will move that we pay the retention payment due Unified for the Wolf Booster and Tank Site, and the ad hoc, working with our bookkeeper, will cut a check, and then we will take that check and get the necessary signatures.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Director Gibson has seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Abstain.
Director Garcia is an aye. 3-0, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 16, discuss vote on the Community Water System COVID Relief Program.
Okay, so the application has been put out there. It's live now through the EAR portal, which I have access to. It was put on there, I believe Carlos said October 5th, and we have 60 days to submit the application. But of course, we want to do it as soon as possible. So my goal, so I won't be here next week, but when I return, I believe Monday, the 25th of October. So that week I'll begin to work on that and get that submitted, hopefully by the end of October.
Cool. So is there anything to vote on? I don't think so.
No, we already voted on it.
Thank you. Number 17. Discussion vote
So
on
as I
welcome.
brought up,
Director Schoenberg. Go ahead.
sorry,
No
I
worries.
beat you to the punch. As I explained earlier, there's a phone call with the state in regard to this. I think they have some discussion and direction for Johnny. That phone call was scheduled for today, but due to some extenuating circumstances, it got moved to Monday. So I believe it's Monday at 11, and then we'll have more information on that.
That's 16 or 17?
That's 17. We
Oh,
did
okay.
16,
Okay,
but
so we'll revisit
a
that
few
next
minutes.
time. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will try to be a part of that meeting with Johnny. I'm just not sure if I can be there at 11 or not because I have an appointment, but I will do my best to be a part of that.
Okay, thank you. Number 18, discussion vote on T-Mobile site improvements.
I will try to grab this one. So I guess there's some improvements that T-Mobile has been wanting to do to their antenna site that they have on our tank.
Right.
So what you have in your board packet is a basic description of what they want to do, that they are very much in a hurry for signatures. As a matter of fact, they were pretty insistent that we get this signed tonight somehow and have it to them before tomorrow, but I don't know how that would be possible. They did also include with their letters a very detailed, looks like plans and specifications that I didn't include in your packet because they were just thick and lengthy. But if any of the board members want to review it, I do have it at the office. But those letters do describe what they're gonna do.
I think I'd like to take that opportunity, but I won't be available till next Tuesday to do that. But I don't know if we're just upgrading existing stuff. I don't think it's going to be any more intrusive than what has already been done on the site. Did anyone look at that? It said remove and replace 6 antennas, 3 remote radio heads, and 6 cables. Proposed to add 3 remote radio heads. Proposed cabinet related equipment will be installed within the existing leased premises. Construction will be coordinated with lessor in advance of any work, which means that Johnny will be notified and will be coordinated with his ability to avail of his availability. So it doesn't look to be, again, very more intrusive. That says the only thing they're adding.
The second page has a scope of work.
Well, both did.
Yeah, but the physical things, what I was trying to say is the only, there was something about anchors. I think the anchors would be only thing that would be intruding onto our property. So that's what I want to look at. Everything else would be just equipment replacement. So, yeah, I think with we would be okay to move ahead, subject to any encroachments on stuff that we don't want, subject to our investigation of the plans. I mean, we can do in spirit what they ask, but still leaving us the ultimate decision whether to go forward. If it's going to be something stupid, a cable cutting across our access road or something like that. But I don't foresee anything like that. So
I think because as the landlord, you would be signing this, Jerry. And if
Yeah.
you're willing to look at with Johnny, I would be willing to give you a vote of confidence to make that, decision once you look a little bit more at the specs.
I would agree with that. Johnny is planning on being back this next week and work, right? I mean, he doesn't have any planned time off. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's gonna be back this weekend.
Okay, so then, yeah, I would take on that responsibility to review the plans and specs. And D, I just might throw out something. There's something I don't understand. I might give you a call, but it should be straightforward maybe some sort of anchor, maybe a little concrete piece or something with an anchor in it to stand off a cable or something, but I don't see it being anything I can't understand or deal with, but just as a point of reference for you and me for the board.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
Yeah, so if someone, I would entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this upgrade. Again, with final rejection only upon, inspection of the site and the plans that could be problematic.
Yeah, so I'll move that we approve the T-Mobile request to modify or upgrade their facilities, which are on our leased property, with our approval, with the contingent on Jerry and Johnny getting together to look at the specs a little bit more closely, and then allow, if everything's okay, Jerry to sign this as landlord, as our president.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
Director Gibson has seconded. Roll call directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
and Director Garcia is abstained. So we have 3-0, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carried.
And Jerry, I'll go ahead and leave this paperwork over where you usually sit in the presidency.
Oh, beautiful. Thank
So
you,
it'll be
Tiffany.
waiting for you there.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much. Number 19, discussion vote on conditional will serve letters.
So just to bring you up to speed, so John and I have been working on this, and Tiffany there's still a couple of little typos in this, because I noticed them after I sent it to Tiffany today, but Tiffany is going to pull up a copy so that we can read through it. And if we're okay, it's 2 separate, conditional will serve letters. So remember the letter that we wrote for the LaFocas. One of them is basically very close to the same letter. It's a template for someone who's doing a project outside the boundaries of Fraser Park, and or doing a development, whether it be just a single property or multiple properties within the boundaries, that requires additional water system improvement before we can give them a will serve. So that's the first one. Both of these are contingent on well number 7 being completed. So we would not be moving forward with an actual will serve letter until they met all the conditions of both of these letters, and we met as a district the condition that we have put in about well 7, and that they have my brain's not working right now, a building permit. And so there's 2 separate letters. So I don't know which one she pulled up first. Let's see, what does this say? This is the
shorter one.
Okay, this is the shorter one. So the shorter one would be a general conditional will serve that we would be using for anyone. So right now we have someone who applied. We voted on this last month. We cannot give them a will serve yet. So we want to give them a conditional will serve. This one leaves out all of the stuff about outside the boundaries or additional improvements. It's just for a typical will serve, but it's still conditional upon them having a building permit and upon well 7 being completed. So I can read it if you would like, and then we should vote on them separately. So conditional will serve, we would put in the name, address, APN number of the requester's property in Fraser Park with their correct zip code. Fraser Park Public Utility District, the district, provides water services within the district's service boundary in Fraser Park, California. Periodically, the district receives from a property owner requests for the district to provide to a regulatory agency or other entity a will serve letter. A will serve letter provides notification to the regulatory agency or entity and the applicant that the district has sufficient water and facilities available to serve the properties requested, and that the district will serve the real properties owned by the applicant subject to applicable district policy and conditions. The conditional will serve letter outlines the general conditions under which the district can and will provide such water service to APN, and then we would put in the number. Per board motion on whatever date we motion, a conditional will serve has been approved, giving the district's conditional commitment to provide domestic water service to the name of the property. Located at the above APN. I already see the conditional right here, Tiffany, needs to be capitalized on that paragraph. A conditional will, because we're calling it that. Okay, at this time, the district can only issue a conditional will serve letter for this property until until certain district conditions are met. Yeah, at this time, the district can only issue a conditional will serve letter for this property until certain district conditions are met. Your application regarding property served under the conditional will serve letter can only be fully processed upon satisfaction of the following conditions. A, the drilling and final system placement online of well number 7, which is the replacement well for well number 5. Until well number 7 is operational, the district will not have enough capacity to meet current water demands. B, confirmation of a valid building permit for the subject property. This conditional will serve letter issued by the district to the applicant shall terminate at the sooner to occur of 2 years after the date of this letter or upon the termination or expiration of any building permit issued to the applicant for construction. Hold on, my phone's so sorry. Construction of improvements on the real property, which is the subject of the conditional will serve letter. If the foregoing conditions are satisfied and the district commences water delivery to the subject property, all district commitments to deliver water shall be subject to the provisions of the then current water shortage contingency plan and or adapted water shortage emergency measures. The owner named herein shall be responsible for payment to the district as provided in district policy of all district fees and costs in existence on the date that a request by the applicant for connection to the district's water system is made, as the same may be adjusted from time to time. Additionally, connections to the district's water system will be made only to real property which has, at the time of the request for connection, a valid building permit. The district establishes and periodically updates fees, charges, and cost reimbursements, which are applicable to connection of water service to real property being developed in the district. The fees established by the district, which are applicable to the conditional will serve letter for which an applicant will be responsible, are as set forth in district policy available at the district office. The applicant will be required to pay those district administrative fees then in effect for the submission of an application for will serve letter, together with any deposits required for applicable engineering fees and attorney's fees. Can you scroll up? The district may require the applicant to furnish the district with such other and further information as the district deems pertinent to further review and process this request. The district will not provide water service to any property in the event of non-payment of any applicable fees or costs. Connection fees are to be paid at the time the real property is connected to the district water system. Water service by the district to your properties will be provided contingent upon compliance with all rules, regulations, policies, resolutions, fees, and specifications that are in effect at the time connection to the district's water system is requested. The district requires receipt of and an opportunity to comment on any of the following: use permit applications, or two, any, it doesn't say or, two, any other documents pertaining to completion of conditions as set forth for a will serve agreement. And then Johnny will sign it. So that would be the first one. That would be for anyone, you know, we haven't had just a standard will serve letter. So this could be modified once the well's built to be just a standard will serve letter. But for now, it's a conditional will serve letter because we're waiting for that well to go in.
Board have any discussion on that?
No.
Okay, we got another one.
Yeah, so but let's vote on this one first in case there's issues with the other one. So that they're separate, I guess, would be the best.
Okay.
I mean, is it written? Say discussion vote on, yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to pass this conditional will serve letter as read.
I will make a motion that we
Go ahead.
accept the will serve letter as read.
Do I have a second?
Wait. I would just put in a provision in case there's something that we didn't catch. I think somewhere there was I think it's on the next one, but there's two words that are run together on one of these. So I would just make it kind of like our minutes and the fact that, you know, Tiffany can correct for typos that we may not have caught.
The friendly amendment accepted?
Yes.
Well, yeah, okay. Because I'm not gonna, it would, okay, that's fine.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Director Kellen has seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
I will abstain just because I worked on the letter.
and Director Garcia is an aye. So we have 3-0, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. Motion carried. Okay, do we have a second letter that we're looking at?
Yeah.
Would you do
Okay,
us
so
the honors?
Sure. Basically, this is the same as far as the top, you know, part goes with their name and address, blah, blah. Everything is exactly the same for the first 5, let's see, 5 paragraphs. Okay, then at this time, so on the paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Yeah. No, go back up. Is that right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. At this time, the district can only issue a conditional will serve letter for this property / project. So that's different, which is currently not within the district's service boundary and or needs additional water system improvement at the time of application and request for a will serve letter. Your application regarding property served under this conditional will serve letter, which requests water service outside of this district's existing service boundary and or which needs additional water system improvements, can only be fully processed upon the satisfaction of the following applicable conditions. A, applies only to property projects outside of district boundaries. Approval of the expanded district sphere of influence, SOI, and the subsequent annexation of the affected real property by the district's board of directors in accordance with the district's adopted annexation policy and contingent upon completion of the annexation of the real property into the district sphere, district service boundary through the Kern County Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO. Inclusion of the real property within the district service area will be at the applicant's sole cost and expense unless the district's board agrees to share the cost. B, if you want to roll up or scroll up below, the drilling and final system placement online of the well, so that's exactly the same. C, confirmation of a valid building permit, that's the same. D, completion of a hydraulic
analysis.
Hydraulic. Bleh, I'm tired. Completion of a hydraulic analysis of the proposed project signed by the district engineer, verifying the capability of the district's water system to supply water to the property. This analysis will contain any special conditions relating to providing water service to said property. The cost of said analysis shall be borne solely by the applicant. The conditional will serve letter issued, so that part's exactly the same. If the foregoing conditions are satisfied, the district commences water delivery to the subject property. All district commitments to deliver water shall be subject to the provisions of the then current, so that's the same. Keep going. Okay, so the owner named is provided. That's the same. Additionally, connections to the district's water system is the same. The district establishes, that's all the same. So those are the same as the one that I just read previously. Keep going. We're on the paragraph that says the applicant. That one is the same. The district may require the applicant to furnish the district. That one's the same. This is so hard to follow. I can lose my place. Okay, the district will not provide water service. That one's the same. Okay, then these are different. If an applicant's request for water service to a proposed development requires the construction of new or additional district water distribution system improvements in order to provide water service requested, the applicant will be required to enter into an agreement with the district setting forth all terms and conditions of water service for the applicant by the district and describing in detail the responsibilities of the applicant and the district with respect to the construction of and payment for any required district water distribution system improvements. In the event that the agreement is required for the applicant's proposed development, the applicant will be responsible to execute and deliver the agreement prior to approval of project improvement plans by the district's general manager and to pay or to reimburse the district for fees and expenses incurred by the district for its district engineer and attorney in the preparation of said agreement. The agreement shall also set forth the terms and conditions for reimbursing the district for project-related expenses, which may include staff, engineering, and legal expenses associated with the project. And then the other part is the same. And the ability to comment is a little different. So there's just one, tentative maps for the real property or use permit applications as the case may be. 2, review and acceptance of improvement plans for construction of needed water system improvements. 3, review and acceptance of completed water system improvements, whether on-site or off-site, and which are associated with this property. And 4, completion of the conditions as set forth for this proposed project. So most of the wording here was the same as the La Foca one, but I'm refreshing your memory since that was sort of a one-off thing. This is a general for people like them who might want to be building something that's not yet in the system's boundaries or is, but requires additional provisions.
Right. I'll entertain a motion to approve this as this document as read, conditional will serve letter with any provision.
Again, I would not put it as read. Again, I would do it with the ability
With
to change
provisions
for
for any
typos.
corrections we may find at a later date.
You gonna go, Gibson? Okay. I will move that we approve this conditional will serve letter for out of boundaries and projects with any amendments or typos that we may find.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. It was better than mine, Kelly.
All right, Director Gibson has seconded. Roll call directors. Director Gibson. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Abstain.
Director Garcia is an aye. That will be a 3-0, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carried. We've tabled a couple items on the next page. Let's go to number 22.
And number 22, it's just the minutes for 9/9/2021.
Right.
And I submitted some changes, and so did another director.
Okay.
It's just to do with capitalization, nothing else.
Okay. You
I
received
will
those?
move that we accept the minutes for September 9th, 2021, with the possibility for additional amendments for typos and the changes that were mentioned previously to our secretary.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Director Kelly has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Anything else we would like to add on number 23 for future agenda items? I think we've kept them coming all night long.
I do actually have something.
Yes, Tiffany.
So now that we're turning the quarter into our regular holiday season of November and December, do we want to talk about dates for the November planning meeting and the December planning meeting?
Oh, God bless you. Yes. Absolutely.
Well, do we want that on next? Yeah, we should just put that on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay, so 28.
Okay, so you want it as an
Yeah.
agenda item?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
we can. And you can unshare the screen, Tiffany.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and then we'll be redoing the resolution if you wish to continue remote meetings in November. So that'll be on the agenda for the next meeting on the planning. Meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
And then another thing is come January, not that it has to be on the next meeting, but probably in November, we're going to have to start thinking about rotating our positions on the board.
Correct.
We've been on the, because
And that's
January we got to
usually-
rotate.
It's usually on the December regular meeting.
Right.
Okay. Well, just so that
And
when
then
we
we
start
should
thinking.
also put the holiday stuff on either this next meeting or the regular meeting for November. Probably just the regular meeting for November.
What holiday stuff? Like any planning?
Any purchases we're gonna make for crew
Okay.
and anything we're gonna do in December or in November for any kind of whatever monies to do for some sort of staff.
Holiday compensation.
holiday thing, yeah.
Okay, so November regular meeting for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
That way we, unless
That's
you think we
soon,
need to,
soon enough, right?
yeah, because it's coming up quickly, so we should definitely address it so Johnny has time to purchase stuff or whoever's going to purchase stuff.
Okay. Got that, Tiff?
I do.
24, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Director Kelly, I second the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was a
So
great meeting.
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out right now. I'm gonna stop by Becky's first, then Terry's, then Jerry's, and then and mail everything. So I will be by shortly.